Hello and welcome to this latest look at the week ahead. Today is Monday the 8th of April and this could be a big week for Brexit with the Article 50 deadline, so that is when the UK is scheduled to leave the EU, coming at the end of the week on Friday the 12th. Now there is a lot of expectation that this deadline will be pushed back after we saw Prime Minister Theresa May propose an extension to the 30th of June. The PM is going to be heading around Europe in the next couple of days before an EU summit on Wednesday, and at that, we'll likely get a decision on whether the extension is granted to 30th of June or possibly even a longer extension, which could be as long as 9 or 12 months. Just to bear in mind as well, whilst this extension is expected to be passed to some extent, if it does not get passed, then this could be a negative reaction for the pound and we could see some significant downside come Friday if there's not an alternative and the UK crashes out of the EU with a no deal. So here I've got a chart of the pound US dollar on daily. This support region once more from 129.60 to 130 held on Friday. You can see we got a drop down into this area, dropped below 130, but buyers stepped in, and today we've seen a bit of a bounce and we're currently trading around 130.50. Now this support region, if we do drop down in again, is an area to keep an eye on, but if we do drop below there, then there is scope for significant downside with the next swing low not really coming in until we get around these levels here around 127.80. On the upside, I'd look to this broken rising trend line here, which goes back to the back end of last year. You can see we have broken below it and retested the middle of last week, but got a rejection. And if we do go back up towards this on a positive pound reaction, then you could see these previous highs here around 130.195 being retested. Above there, 133.80 is potentially significant longer term. And if we just scroll all the way out, you can see here, if we do get a nice strong move higher above 133.80, then there is potential for further gains up to around these levels here, 136.15, possibly even high as 137.20 if we do get a strong positive reaction in the pound. Pound Japanese yen's another pound pair, which is an interesting level. You can see we've been in a narrow range here, similar to the pound US dollar for the last 6 or 7 weeks, and we are consolidating, and this range is even narrowing more recently. You can see price has gone back towards these 8 and 21 EMAs, which is just about in a negative orientation, but there's not really a clear trend at present here as the market is kind of coiling before a potentially bigger move going forward. In terms of levels to look for here, I'd look for 143.85 as possible support. You can see this act as support on a previous few occasions down here, and to the upside, this resistance region around 149.40, which goes back to those highs we saw last September or October. Turn our attention to equities, UK 100, you can see being an incredible run higher here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 consecutive green closes, and we're just working on a possibly 10th green close in a row. In terms of levels, we've also pushed back up above that 200-day SMA. You can see this yellow line here, and the market could be seen now to be in an uptrend. If we take Fib retracements from the all-time highs we got in 2018 and run them down to those December lows, you can see last week we also moved above the 61.8% Fib at 73.80, and you can see the next level according to these Fibs to keep an eye on in terms of possible resistance doesn't come into around 7,610. If we do get a dip back into this 61.8 at 73.80, then there could be some possible support. Finally, I just want to touch on gold. We've not really seen too much reaction in gold to the latest Brexit news, but if we do get a negative reaction, particularly a no-deal Brexit, then we could see a sharp move in the precious metal. This chart's shaping up quite nicely. We had non-farm payrolls on Friday, and you can see we did dip below this neckline in the head and shoulders, but buyers stepped in, and this region now from around 1277 to 1287, potentially key support. On the upside, 1324, which is the right shoulder in the head and shoulders setup. If we do get above there, then 1346 is an area to keep an eye on. Okay, thanks for listening and best of luck if you're trading these markets this week.